that comes all back to the starting point of this conversation, company culture.
Yeah.
The minds need to be adjusted sometimes. That you're not dealing only with commercial parties or other counterparties that you trade with. You're dealing with TSOs and regulators, which is public or semi-public bodies. And one message that we can share already with those who are new to the markets. 1, general contracts are not negotiable. Don't try. 2, bank guarantees are very fixed in their wording. Usually just assume that you need to copy paste. And 3, just don't argue with regulators. Just
don't. Welcome to Time2Talk, to this episode where we're summarizing together with Paul, the managing director of Time2Market, the year behind us and the year ahead of us. We're going to look at a few examples, maybe. Who knows where the chat will take us? I'm just so happy to get this chat started. So let's go on. It's funny because, you can plan something so much ahead of time and be sure like today is the day you're going to record this episode. We're going to have so much fun doing it. Only just that, your kid decides to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and making everybody's day a little bit longer than, you would expect.
I was not expecting to have a recording today at this moment here. And I still don't know the content of today's conversation. I do a little bit, of course, but I'm ready. Born to be ready. Ready yesterday.
So when I thought about, how can I prepare for this episode? Actually, I didn't want to prepare. I want to take it a little bit more easy and take a little bit, make an episode with less weight on it, less, industry message, but more on, just looking back on, the previous months behind us and looking also a bit ahead of us. We have been now working with so many different kind of companies and we've both large and small. And I was thinking, I don't know, you might find this analogy a little bit funny, but I was thinking, what can I compare energy traders to? And I thought, okay, but help me out here because maybe you're going to be like, oh. So I thought, energy traders are like, NFL. Maybe a lot of be able to, go as high to really make it to the top team. But at the end of the day, only those will stay in that league, right?
You need to perform. Keep on performing. Yeah. You're talking about football, right?
Yeah.
How do they call it? Can you call it football in the US? I don't know. The silly shaped ball game.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and it's the biggest thing in the US, but of course, I could have said football as well.
Super Bowl.
If that, should we say just football and stick to Europe? Soccer. So it's really like, because we have seen a lot of parties, ambitious parties or like even like ambitious, but maybe slightly naive trying to do this. And I think we have a nose to see who is,
who's in it,
who's ready in it. Yeah, really, because it's a long-term game. It's not a lottery ticket, really, right?
Nope. It's being statistically better, and you can win the lottery once or twice, but not every time, every month, every year. And that's where the winners will distinguish from the losers, just like with the NFL.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think maybe a bit less right now, but over the last few years, we have seen many players who want to be a part of it, but has no clue what it takes to be set up. And with setup, I don't mean market access. With setup, I don't mean having a trader or an algo, but to have a system, a setup, understanding, appetite, resources, money, know-how, ambition, experience. So already quite a few points. And you need them all to have something that is, remains, and will be successful. And many underestimate that.
It's still, nice to see that regardless of how many years pass and we keep doing what we do, there are still, these elements of, preparation, readiness that comes ahead of you, and some may underestimate it. Some, really know what there is coming at them, but there are also some they're like overestimating it, So there's always this balance, and maybe nobody has right, but just finding the right way that works for you in a sustainable and compliant manner. I guess that's the most important, right?
It is about the balance. And we recently spoke with a party as well, where some had some food and energy or had their food and energy, while many others in the company did not have their food within the energy waters yet. And there you could see like blind panic in their eyes, like compliance,
Yes.
data security, data systems, EPRs, protocols, legal analysis, finance. You could see the panic hitting, like, okay, we need to now develop everything. And, oh, you guys want to start trading in 3-4 months. We will never be ready for that. And I think that's where we have we are the party with the knowledge to bring the right information, to point that in the right direction, but also to bring comfort that panic is not always needed, that you do need the right setup. But of course, as many other businesses, you can scale while you take your action, while you get your new market set up. Of course, if you're an energy startup, you don't need to have your 5-headed compliance team there, a 5-headed risk team there. Yeah, sometimes you start with 2-3 people. But you need to understand the risks, and you need to have the appetite and the optimum. Yeah, it's a fine balance between doing things right and fast, or wrong and slow.
Yeah. I know which example you're talking about, and I really liked it. And one element that I was actually surprised by was the element of, getting the people and their corporate culture on board. That surprised me quite a lot because, like, we're talking here about a large company. I think it's like, well, large, relatively or large, but at least 100 plus employees. And in addition to having the buy-in of obviously the C-level range, at that level, you need to have the buy-in from the rest of the organization as well. Yeah. And that takes time, actually.
Yes, it does. And people need to find comfort in what is going on and need to get that understanding. And they're basically thrown into a jungle and they feel alone without guidance. And yeah, then together they found out, okay, together we're Robinson Crusoe and we will manage this. We will know what to do, where to go, what is safe and what is not.
It's okay. We've got you. Don't worry. Like, we know that this can be a little bit tricky in the beginning to understand. And of course, they're putting their hand into a lot of different things that they have no clue about. Don't tell them. But at the end of the day, we're there to support, and just, we wouldn't let them do anything if if they're not ready.
I think there you touch upon a nice point where we do add that value that parties sometimes are not aware of.
Yeah.
And that is just, when you take a map of Europe, we know it. Not just which country is where, but what does it take? Where are the risks? What are the timelines? What are the complexities? And even if we have a client who wants to go to, let's say, 1 or 2 markets, we do the setup for them, then we are also the party to tell them what might not be the best idea where to go. And that is something that many people just underestimate. We have heard of parties that enter new markets not knowing what they are running into. Can they have their imbalances? Can they take day ahead to intraday? What part of the setup was unknown to them before they entered? And that's just money out of the window if you get a setup that have cost months of resources for several people within your organization, lots of collateral, time, efforts. And if you then get your setup that you cannot trade as you intended to, your whole business case is wrong.
Exactly.
And
it wouldn't feel right to set them up on a market that, we know that it won't fit their strategy. Like, oh, Eszter, like, this is the way we trade. Since everybody's going there, we think we can go there too. And then we're like, okay, are you sure? And have you considered this and this and this? Because here you can only do all these things, or these other things that you're like, oh, wow, this was exactly the information I needed. And why can't I get that in the organization when we're 300 people plus? Like, where is this knowledge? And it was also indeed a beautiful example for, giving us the reassurance of, why we exist and are, so doing great in this industry, because it's not just about operations. It's not about, the admin part. It's beyond that. It's connecting the dots.
We are the bridging parties between many of the counterparties or concept. And there's always all these different options to take. And that's where we're a bridge. One concept I like to touch upon as well is bubbles. And I don't mean market bubbles, but we're based in Denmark. And let's be honest, the industry is very large, but at the same time small. And the Danish energy industry is a bit of a bubble.
Yeah.
Everyone knows everyone. Everyone moves everyone. So there's this common knowledge within the bubble. And let's say, saying that Germany is an asset market that you cannot freely speculate like in some other physical European power markets on the spot. True, maybe common knowledge within the Danish bubble. But we do a lot more than Danish bubbles. We deal with many bubbles, and we deal with the hedge funds, and we deal with investment banks, and with asset players from CWE, from CEE, parties who are more on the petrochemical side. And some of these bubbles have just very different knowledge base.
Yeah.
They might know tons and tons about a specific commodity outside power and gas, or from a local geographical area. And for them, it might not be that common knowledge that Germany, from a physical power, spot power perspective, is an asset market. And that's how we help these other bubbles. There's these other industries at different scale, different commodity, different speed, different interest, different strategies. And because we do have that diverse portfolio, we have a bit of nose in all these bubbles.
Yeah.
And that's how we can, again, make a bridge between these bubbles and help all these parties in navigating the complexities of the energy markets.
Yeah. Yeah, but this is so amazing, honestly, because we already had days that were so different from, one day to another. And this just adds, the diversified portfolio of our clients just adds another layer of beauty to it. And it's so much fun.
One thing that I just popped into my mind that I did not expected before we jumped into this. It's not so much that I didn't expect it, I just wasn't aware of it. We had that idea of starting a business. And what I wasn't aware of is that we started our network. The amount of people that we have met over the last years is absolutely crazy. And I just did not think about that. But the amount of people that we have met over these soon 3 years is absolutely crazy, because we already have dozens and dozens of clients, and we work with somewhere from 1 to 30 people within these organizations. And then we know all these different service providers. We know the TSOs, the exchanges, storage operators, and then we have spoken with another, I don't know how many hundreds of counterparties, and you get to know them, you get to understand them, and,
yes.
and that is just such a joy.
Yes, and it's also a privilege to work with these people. Honestly, it's so many, like the knowledge that lays within these circles, and ping-ponging around with thoughts and ideas and next moves and strategic decisions, and how should we do this, and there's no solution that fits all, and there's no case that's similar to A to B, and it's just really, that's such a good point.
And I just had the realization that it's a bit of a thing now to just say trading houses are IT companies, they're data companies, they are algo traders, but let's not forget the human aspect.
Yes.
Setting them up on these markets is a process already with a lot of human interaction, because there's people sitting on the other side of the email and the keyboard.
Yeah.
But then market access would not be as fun or as joyful from a delivery perspective if there wasn't every time that gratefulness from the client.
Exactly.
And that is just fantastic. To get that little sentence, Eszter, Paul, thank you.
Yeah.
No, that's what we do.
Yeah, And yeah, I love it indeed when we get these, like, it's really just where you say you make that difference, or this is exactly what we need, or it's beyond our expectations. These are just, that's really why it's worth doing it. It's just so much fun.
It is.
Yeah. Now I wanted to, take a little bit of turn to the right, to the left. But, you have been driving the last few episodes. So I just, on Time2Talk, you have spoken to so many different people, and it has been Tenet, it has been Craig, the regulatory authority, has been a commercial part as well. So, and you have touched upon a lot of different topics, like I think you spoke about AI and the landscape of the the rural penetrations and all these topics. So can you just give us a short well, I don't want to say summary, but just like what if you had to choose 1 or 3 threads around this discussions that you've had?
That is one tough question. I mean, every conversation is so different because the counterparties are very different. I mean, it is clients, it is service providers, it is TSOs and regulators. And we every time touch upon different topics, and they're all super interesting. And now I'm not answering your question directly, but the beauty from the whole industry is the complexity.
Yeah.
It's such a small industry where there's all these different parties with different interests working together. There's the society bit of it to make it a more efficient market, with especially now thinking about, of course, the conversations with Frank from Tenet and also with Nico from 𝐜𝐴 on flow-based market coupling, welfare optimization, integration, interconnectors, implicit and explicit market coupling. And these topics are so extremely complex, and there's so many smart people working on all these things. And then you have the traders who approach it from volatility or money-making perspective. And you have the regulator who cares about society, and the TSO about grid stability. And every party has their own role. Every party has their source of knowledge and their own interpretation of all the facts, the data, the systems. And that makes it such a unique and interesting industry that we all work in. And I think you made a funny point at some point that we were at a wedding, of course, where we were having great time with our friends, but we also realized then to meet new people that you don't know, where you don't have a link with. Let's be honest, it can sometimes be challenging to get a new conversation with someone you don't know. And then we said, being on that wedding, remember eWorld? And then we played in our mind, we went back to eWorld, and then you just realize you are, I don't know, with 15,000 people in that big hall. And with every single person that you meet, you have a conversation because you're from the energy industry. You have the shared knowledge, you have your shared network, the shared parties. So you can talk for half an hour nonstop with all these people there.
Easily.
And that brings me back to where I started my answer. It's such an interesting industry, and that is one of the best examples I can give.
Thank you.
I did not answer your question, but still.
No, but I know it was a, not so obvious and, tricky question. And we could, then pin down to small bullet points and talk about it. But that's, of course, not the aim of this episode, because the episodes are there anyway. And please check out the previous episodes because those are a lot of fun and really amazing.
Absolutely.
Guests have
smart
taken
people,
part. Yeah.
Great conversations.
Yeah. And we're looking forward for the next episode as well. There's going to be really, really good content. So.
And we're also open to suggestions. So in case you have an idea or a request on who would you like to hear on our podcast, let us know. Maybe we can help.
Yes.
Because
we
know many parties. We have a network. Let's be honest, we love doing this. So let us know. And maybe we can get that party here on the table virtually.
Yes. So please let us know who would you like to see next on Time2Talk. And we will definitely make it happen. We have worked in a lot of different cases this year. And by this year, I mean, obviously now summer, the market is taking a breath. Everybody's, well, not everybody, but most of the people are on holiday. So if we would have to, look at some of the most memorable cases that you have worked on this year, what are those that you're like, oh, wow, that was so special, so awesome, so different, so unique? Could you pull out a few of these from your drawer?
Yeah, one of the memorable cases that I definitely have, and that gives these little warm lights, these little joys, is that we're doing a license application and we know how that goes. We know what is asked for. And we prepare our clients. This is the usual, so please prepare this. But we know, please also prepare in advance 𝐜𝐴Z, because we know that it will come. No, we're fine, we're good. Just send the application. Okay, if you want so, please, we will do. And ta-da! What happened? The regulator came back exactly with our 𝐜𝐴Z. And that just gives me the smile, because some of you might know these regulators work with these processing deadlines, and sometimes it's 2 weeks, sometimes it's 3 months. So every time they ask for information, they get the right to extend that waiting period again with that period. So you can easily lose 2 months by not delivering a complete package. And in this case, exactly that, what we indicated, was asked for, and it sucks. Of course, it ain't great to have delay on the application, but it emphasizes the value that we bring, because we know what's going to be asked, even sometimes out of the scope.
Yeah,
and that's how we can just save months.
Yeah, that's a good one, because I do understand that some of these parties, they maybe they want to protect their information, and that's completely fine. But we wouldn't prepare them in advance if we did not know that, if you're not going to do this, you're going to delay. So what's more important to you? 2 months of delay, or sitting on your information for these 2 months and then only to be forced to release afterwards?
And that comes all back to the starting point of this conversation, company culture.
Yeah.
The minds need to be adjusted sometimes, that you're not dealing only with commercial parties or other counterparties that you trade with. You're dealing with TSOs and regulators, which is public or semi-public bodies. And one message that we can share already with those who are new to the markets: 1, general contracts are not negotiable. Don't try. 2, bank guarantees are very fixed in their wording. Usually just assume that you need to copy paste. And 3, just don't argue with regulators. Just
don't.
Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Regulator. Yes, thank you. We will deliver. Because any kind of conversation that you have to take a sidestep on what is asked, what is required, just typically delays the process, because you need to deliver what they want to know.
And, but I do understand a certain level of, let's challenge this expectation, let's challenge this inquiry. I get it, but we know what you can and cannot do. Just trust us. We know.
We've got you.
We've got you. We've seen it, and really it's like, we're there to help you. We wouldn't tell you that, So it was a beautiful case. I think it was indeed a lot of fun, and they were at the end like, we should have just gone ahead. He told us in the beginning. So it was a really good example.
No, and we want success. We want to get that set up in the right way as fast as possible. And we share the things we deem relevant to get that. Sometimes it takes a bit longer, but in the end, what we want is just a great dialogue with all parties, that we are hopefully trusted, that we get the market access, and that everyone believes it was a successful process.
Yeah, because I know this is such a beautiful one, because this particular party is now operating in, I don't even know how many, nearly all over Europe, and it's all our work, and it's been so much fun, and particularly because of that, closeness that we have developed over the years, that, it was just funny that they were like, let's just go ahead and try. So yeah, and it's so, also at the same time, so heartwarming to see look, guys, we're getting these messages guys, we're scaling up, we're taking volumes, we're doing this and that. And now they just posted 40 million euros on this account alone. That, these kind of things are just so nice, because we're like, we did that.
That's success speaking.
Yeah.
We like to enable success. I think that's sort of a summary of who we are.
Yeah, we don't want to set people up for failure. That's not at all what we stand for. And
I want to rephrase it. We don't like enabling success. We enable success, and we like it. One was a really nice one. We had a party. We were speaking with a party who wanted to enter Poland, and they thought they could just do it themselves, get a bit of insight and input here and there, and then go ahead. But then they came back with some kind of preliminary conclusion, and they said that their market access in the US for the virtual trading on the nodes seemed like a walk in the park compared to the Polish case. And there was like, this is a nice one. Yeah, and it's partly true. US is challenging enough. You need to know what you're doing to get the right setup. But Poland is, again, a whole different case. And one thing I can say, I think in the name of the whole market, that everyone looks forward to a nice holiday. And everyone looks even more forward to being back again.
Yeah, exactly. Because, Paul, now, we are heading out for holidays as well. And I do feel like, this year has been so intense, so much going on so many levels. It was fun, but also busy. Busy.
Out
so
times.
Take
the power plug, pull it out.
Yeah.
Be offline, off the grid. Enjoy it while it lasts, and come back recharged. Yeah. It's funny, coming back recharged while the power is plugged out.
Because it's September's here, and then everybody's back, so we're back to business. We're looking so much forward, because a lot of great things are coming, to It's a realization, a lot of new things that we're so excited about. I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, me as well. Yeah, lots of new stuff, new parties, many new activities, and if you feel like we're nice people to talk to, just write us and let's have a chat after summer.
Yeah, I would phrase it differently. I would say, like, if you feel like, okay, now it's, 26 is the year to make a difference. If 26 is the year you want to elevate your success, or 26 is the year to make that bold move, then it's a good idea to reach out to us.
Let's chat.